Yesterday we looked at everything that Milestone and Hot Wheels Unleashed did right. Now I want to move on to a couple more questionable things. Things that either should have been fixed at some point and were not, or things that just seem like really suspicious or bad decisions. We're going to start with physics. The physics in this game are kind of a mess. Sometimes touching a wall will send your car flying in the opposite direction. Hitboxes on many things don't line up, such as signs that you can actually hit without visibly touching. Like, you will see that you've missed the sign, but your car will stop because it's hit it, and the sign will break. And monster truck wheels can clip decorations on the track walls and just toss the truck into oblivion. If your wheels aren't dead straight when you land a jump in a monster truck, it shoots off in whatever direction your wheels are facing. There's just a few issues here and there. I could go on for ages, but honestly, there's so many issues with the physics in this game that I couldn't list them all. And I'm just going to hope that we have enough video footage to show some of them. Next, we have the bugs. The game bugs have plagued this game since the start, and they've been ignored while content has been on a regular releasing schedule. We've never had hot fixes. The rare times that a bug fix is released, we've had a month's notice that it was coming. Or it was fixing something that Milestone wanted fixed, such as making a certain mod incompatible, or nerfing a Hot Wheels original that they accidentally gave a bit too much boost to, or removing crossplay from PC. The quick fixes on these issues shows that Milestone is more than capable of fixing these things quickly, but chooses not to fix the other things in a timely fashion, because it doesn't matter to them. Next, we have favorited tracks. Thanks to the modding community, we managed to access pseudo crossplay on PC a bit early. This allowed PC players to use PlayStation and Xbox tracks and libraries. Milestone didn't like this and quickly released a patch that stopped this mod working. They didn't want PC players to have access to this stuff before it was ready. So that's fair enough, I guess. In the same patch, favorited tracks on all systems stopped working. Now, if you exit the game, it clears your favorited track list, so you just lose them. There's no point favoriting a track anymore. This happened months ago, and the favorited track list is still not fixed, despite the fact that they quickly fixed the issue that they were upset with. They were quick to patch that, but they didn't bother fixing the issue that they caused in that patch. So due to this patch, when crossplay finally dropped, PC players couldn't access console tracks and libraries because of the patch that's preventing them from doing so. It was still part of the game. Rather than try and fix that, they just removed PC crossplay entirely. The desync in this game has been a problem since it started. It's so bad that on your screen it'll show a guy ramming into you, pushing you into the wall, but then on his screen it shows you doing that to him. Now, because on your screen you're getting pushed to one side, on his screen you're moving to that side, and vice versa. So no matter what you do, you can't counteract this because you're both fighting a force that's not even there. And it's crazy. Like, you can miss somebody going through a corner. You don't want to knock them off the edge. You don't want to be that guy, so you avoid them. But because of desync, your car is a few seconds, or almost a second behind, and it will take them out. Heavy cars in this game aren't actually heavier than the small, faster cars. I remember when M. Bison first came out that I was surprised to find that it gets tossed around by small cars when I'm trying to run people off the road. It kind of defeats the purpose of driving this slow vehicle with bad stats if you don't have the weight to push other drivers around that is supposed to make up for that. We look at the monster trucks, for example. Any little car hits a monster truck and the monster truck will get tossed. They're just so lightweight compared to every other car in the game. It makes no sense. What's the point of these heavy cars if they're actually lighter than everything else and then also have the bad stats on top of that? The secret cars for completing this game are really limited. They have pretty bad stats compared to other cars, but worst of all, they have rare boost. So they have the same boost power as a rare car, not a legendary, which means they're always going to be slower than the legendary cars. Even in max speed, they're just outclassed. They don't have anything special to them that makes you want to use them. They don't allow you to use the spectral flame paint or keep the red line wheels or anything when you use them in the editor. So there's nothing unique about these cars other than the fact that they're kind of just gag vehicles and they're just not good to drive. I really would like for the Beach Bomb to be really fun to drive and really, competitive, but there's nothing competitive about it, and there's nothing unique about it either. Car balancing has been strange. So we've had overpowered cars that were strong on release and have dominated online lobbies, and they've never been patched or adjusted or anything like that. And they're always DLC character cars, right? Superman, Vega, Roadrunner. These are just cars that we have to pay for that are all unpaintable. And then we have these popular community cars, such as the Accelerators line and the Hot Wheels originals, such as, your Roger Dodger and Bone Shaker, I guess. They're given poor stats. They're not good to drive. One of them, the Synchro for Accelerators, was given good stats by accident, and they patched that out in under a week. So they were very quick to jump on that. Secret cars that you unlock as rewards were hit the worst. Some of them have just been the slowest and most unusable cars in the game thanks to their rare stats, which these are popular cars. Why are they so bad when they're the ones that people want? No one wants to drive Superman and Vega, and I kind of like Roadrunner. No one wants these cars to be good. No one wants to drive them. But if you want to do well, you kind of get pushed into it because they are just better cars. And if you're at the same level as someone that you're playing against online, you kind of need the better car. The library editor is horribly lacking. It only contains basic shapes and a couple of images that have little to do with Hot Wheels. But thankfully they've added emojis because that was important to have emojis. But thankfully we have had recently a mod that allows us to use these libraries, which is super good. We have a sticker for, Teku logos and Highway 35 logos. Awesome work. And I really hope that they can expand on this and make just a dedicated library mod that works for everyone and has a bit of everything. I really look forward to the future of this mod. But not only did Milestone drop the ball in the first place by not including these popular and requested logos such as, Accelerators logo, the older Hot Wheels logo, and franchises such as Batman and Barbie. Come on, we've got a whole Batman update and we can't put a Batman sticker on our car? It makes no sense. Barbie, they have the rights to that. It's Mattel. Mattel has the rights to that. I guess Milestone technically does not. But they got Barbie in the game, so why not? They didn't allow grouping or saving created art, which means that artists are forced to make everything from scratch time and time again. If you want the Highway 35 logo on 3 cars, you've got to make it 3 times. Whereas on something like Forza, you can make that, save that sticker as a group, so the whole logo is saved. And not only can you put that on other cars, you can share it online so anyone can access it. So only one guy has to make that logo, and then everyone can use that logo. It's great. We didn't see any of that here. Despite many requests, nothing has been ever added to improve the library editor. The layer limit is so low for detailed libraries, so these amazing artists are very limited in what they can do. And there's just a lack of customization options, such as putting libraries on wheels, windows, or swapping wheels altogether. But many of the default libraries in the game already have these things, such as, the Teku logo on the back of Power Rage, or just stickers on the wheel, logos on the wheels. We can't do that, and it's a bother that we see that in the game, and it's completely possible. We just don't have the option. The libraries themselves have been known to break every few updates, slightly move things. So when you have got a detailed library, things move, and suddenly the face you've put on the side of your car is all distorted. Hours of making the perfect image, and you just have it destroyed just because bits of it moved slightly, and it's not even something in your control. The first time they did this, they rolled out a patch, fixed the issue, and that was great. We thought that it wouldn't be a problem again. But then every other update, they've just said, no, we're not fixing this issue. Too bad. And it makes no sense. Why is it that every time an update comes out, the font on these images changes and ruins everything? And then they're like, too bad, fix it yourselves. And we thought we'd only have to fix it the one time. We were okay with that. We dealt with it. But then it's been regular. It's just a regular thing. I don't even think it requires patches anymore. It's just a constant thing. And there are so many more bugs that library editors could spend hours explaining that I'm not even aware of, because I don't use the library editor. I'm not an artist, but I'm quite aware of a lot of the frustrations that these fantastic and talented people have to deal with. What about the character cars? Have we seen this? Of the, I'm not even going to bother counting how many cars are in Hot Wheels Unleashed, but almost 50 of them, 49 of those are character cars. Almost all of the paid DLC has been character cars. Character cars aren't the most popular things in real castings. They look like weird characters stretched and molded into the shape of something that resembles a car. And then to top it all off, we're not allowed to edit these things and change their colors. Come on. Shazam looks great. Let me edit it. Thanks to PC modding, we can see what we're missing out on. And it looks great, right? There are so many beautiful libraries done on these character cards that PC can access. The mod itself doesn't even do anything special. It's not some super complicated mod. It's just changing a word, essentially ticking a checkbox that all other cards already have checked, and that allows them to be edited. So the feature is already there, and Milestone could add it effortlessly because these modders have added it effortlessly, and it's not even their game. There's not really any reason to not allow these other than, franchises care about their copyright and all that sort of stuff, but they allow the mod. So PC players are allowed to do it. We're allowed to use the mod. Milestone doesn't mind. Why not just make that accessible for everyone else? Why does everyone else have to miss out? If we're getting just so many of these dodgy character cards shoved down our throats, at least let us have a little bit of fun with them. The track builder has been broken since release. Sometimes it'll soft lock and you can't place any more track. That's it. The whole track is gone. If you haven't saved it, you've lost all your work. This has never been fixed. It's been reported countless times and it's now been a year. So I guess it's just never getting fixed. Many of the requested quality of life improvements have never been added to the track builder. Just a few things just to make it a bit smoother, such as track straightening and stuff like that. It limits creative freedom when, these quality of life improvements don't get added. It means that editors have to spend more time just doing basic things such as straightening a track. There's no grid or anything like that. The low unit cap combined with the high cost of modules punishes creativity. And thanks to PC mods, we've shown that this is kind of unnecessary. Some of the modules, if you spam them, will obviously, cause a bit of lag. But as for the track pieces themselves, we could really have just far more. It can easily be raised, and there won't be an issue. Like if we raise the unit cap slightly or even majorly, it doesn't cause many issues or any issues even. Only if you're spamming a particular module. In its current state, it's just so limited on how many modules you can use, and we could definitely fit more in without causing any issues we've seen. Milestone claims that all the official tracks in the game were made using this in-game editor. This has been proven impossible. Just look at Snakes at Rest. You can't build that track exactly the same. It's not physically possible with the editor the way it is. Maybe they had a different editor when they were making the game, but these tracks were definitely not all made, or any of them, I don't believe, would have been made using this editor. The checkpoints are also really limited. Like, you can only put them on straights. That makes very little sense to me. There's an insane amount of bugs. So many bugs. It would double the length of this whole video to explain how many bugs there are, and I don't even know them all. Rather than go through an essay with someone just to learn all these bugs, I'll just let you ask whatever your local track builder is. So many bugs that just haven't been fixed. The respawns are another issue. You have no control over respawns. This causes some really bad respawns. Sometimes to spawn under the track, or you'll get knocked back like 30 seconds because the track has deemed that there's no safe place to put you. It makes no sense. Sometimes the track will put you in unsafe places too, where you just start falling, or, as I said, under the track. So being able to place your own respawns is something that's one of the many quality of life improvements that people would like, and we just aren't getting. They haven't done anything to improve this track builder except for add a few modules they already plan to add. On the topic of modules, the desync that we have in the visuals in the hitbox for the swinging boulders module that causes cars to be hit by it even when they're clearly nowhere near the boulders or is visually swinging the opposite way. It's just it's a problem. Why have they never fixed this? Why does the boulder hit you when it's not near you? The towers module desync is pretty bad too. It causes each player to get a unique layout. So your path might be, go right, middle, middle. And then the guy next to you, his path is left, middle, left. Like you get different towers on different screens. But worse still, this means the guy in front of you can ram into a module, a block that you have, because it's not on his screen. On his screen, he goes through it. On your screen, his car stops there and gets in your way. What? Many of the modules in the game are just outright garbage and RNG based anyway. Players hate them, track builders refuse to use them, and modules themselves can cost up to 20 times as much as a regular track piece, meaning that sometimes they take an eighth of your track building budget. An eighth. So that means if I put 7 of this module down, I've got barely any. I can't even put 8 of this module down because then I can't afford track. It's ridiculously overcosted for some of these modules, and there's not even a consistent reason for it. Things like the start tower, the ultimate garage starting line, you think that would cost more than a regular starting line, but it doesn't. It's the same cost despite the fact that it's animated, it's bigger, and there's not really any real reason for these limitations. Like you might think it's to stop lag and stuff, but thanks to, mods, we've seen that that's not true. And it is just genuinely, they just wanted to limit things in some way, I guess. I don't know. Maybe there was an issue with some of the modules do overload it, like the jumping towers module does. But rather than limit that particular module, they've just limited all modules. Just a blanket sort of thing. Just like we have blanket start lines. Oh, the first start line doesn't cost much, so we'll just make all the start lines not cost much. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not the best system. And yeah, as I said, most of these modules just suck anyway. Or the RNG, like the snake and the dynapole. But, you can't really control as a driver whether or not you're going to get affected by them, which just feels unfair. And then some of them, you super can't control it, like the swinging boulders, because who knows where the boulder is? You can't actually see it. Crossplay. This was a big one. This was actually a really big deal when it happened. So Milestone released crossplay by accident for PC. We saw in the patch notes that it was only for consoles. They quickly realized what the issue was, and within 24 hours they removed it and pretended that it wasn't working. Originally, they even claimed that PC just didn't get crossplay. They were like, no, PC didn't get it. And then all the PC players were like, hey, we've got it. Here's videos of us doing crossplay. And they're like, yeah, we had to remove it because it wasn't working. Their next patch note literally says, fixed an issue causing problems in online crossplay sessions. And it was a PC-only patch. So it removes crossplay from the game, and that fixes an issue with crossplay, apparently. It fixes an issue where PC players have it. The Discord community representative then went one step further. He told PC players that if they wanted crossplay, they would have to purchase the game again from the Windows Store. Now, the Windows Store had just released this version of the game like a week earlier, so it was no one owned it because everyone that wanted the game on PC already owned it, and through Steam or Epic. Then they release another copy on PC, and then their community representative is telling people that if they want crossplay, something that was working fine, that they have to purchase this game again and all DLC. Just disgusting. Switch got completely left out, as they always do. So Switch didn't even get crossplay. They didn't even get a taste of it by accident or whatever. But despite having crossplay, thanks to just a complete lack of an in-game friends list, PlayStation Xbox players can't invite each other to public lobbies or private lobbies. So what's really the point if you can't actually play with people? I don't know. Yeah, kind of defeats the purpose of crossplay if it's just sometimes you might find someone you know online that plays on a different system. Speaking of Switch, these guys got screwed, right? If I had this game on Switch, I would be furious and demanding a refund. The Switch version of the game costs just as much as every other version, but it's missing private lobbies and you can't invite friends to public lobbies. So there's just no social aspect. If you want to play with a friend, you've just got to both of you hit search at the same time. Hope you find each other. Hot Wheels Unleashed has a large community of people that play together. You create a track. You can share that with friends. You can invite them to a private game to show them your track. You don't get that on Switch. There's multiple racing leagues that are hosted by fans on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation that use private lobbies. I think we even had the official tournament. I feel like Switch must have been left out because you can't do private lobbies. But yeah, we have these racing leagues that utilize private lobbies to host pre-selected tracks. Switch players just can't do it. When you do create a track on Switch, you can either play it in time trial or hope that by some miracle it's chosen as a random track online. That's the only way you can drive on this track with other people. You can't use AI. And if you don't have a way to invite friends, you can't make people drive on your track. You can't ask people to drive on your track. So your tracks are time trial tracks only and very rarely will show up online. So they're not only missing out on private lobbies, they're missing out on racing on tracks that they've made themselves and all community aspects of the game. They've just gotten so much less of a game compared to what we've gotten. And like, it seems like only 2 features are missing. But the amount of features and additional things this game gives for having those 2 features are also gone. So things that you take for granted because they're not technically a feature, such as the community or being able to drive on a track you've made with other people, those are also gone. So we're missing more than just those 2 features, which are just major features anyway. And then when crossplay dropped, once more the Switch was left out. Why were they left out? It makes no sense. I'm always surprised to hear when somebody is like, yeah, I play Switch. Because like I imagine that the Switch community is dead because of how poorly Switch players have been treated. Online, there's less people playing, which means you're less likely to find a lobby entirely. There are times where Switch just has no one playing. It's just unfortunate. If you get on and no one else is playing, what's going to make you want to stay and play online? So Milestone has said they're pro-modding. They support modding if it's harmless. But do you know they support modding if it's harmful to the game? Because there's no anti-cheat on the PC, which, thankfully that means we can mod, but also unfortunately it means hackers are also a problem. We've got hackers on PC forever getting away with ruining lobbies. And recently Milestone admitted that they have no way to ban PC players. So no matter what a PC player is doing, they have to basically email Steam and be like, hey, can you ban this guy? And if Steam just doesn't care, which they kind of don't when it comes to Hot Wheels Unleashed, or Milestone can't be bothered putting in the paperwork, that person is forever unpunished. We had multiple people that were, caught hacking on video. That gets sent through to Milestone. Milestone's like, yeah, we'll get them banned, and nothing gets done. And then Milestone has admitted that they can't actually ban people for cheating on PC. They've asked people to report cheaters on their Discord server and then claim to take action, but since they've admitted they can't actually take action, maybe that was a lie. I don't know. I can't imagine that. Apparently all these people that have been reported and has been told that they've been banned or told that action was taken, apparently they're still online causing havoc and hacking on these servers. So I don't know. What's the point in reporting someone for cheating if there's nothing that can be done about it? We've been going at this for a while, but I promise we're right at the end. The last thing I want to talk about is the bar boost. It's significantly worse than the pit boost. The bar boost charges slower and burns faster, and it has this activation tax. That means just for turning on the boost, just for pressing it, burn a chunk of your boost, just for simply pressing a button. So before it even pushes your car forward, as a boost should do, you're losing some of it, which means you can't The advantage of bar boost is meant to be that you can do small control boosts, but if you're getting taxed on those small control boosts, what's the point? You're not able to do that. You're being punished for doing small control boosts. They need to get rid of the activation tax and maybe make it charge a little bit faster, because it is just significantly worse. And other than like one guy on Xbox, no one is successful with it. Everyone is like, yeah, I'm just better with pip boost. All the good drivers are better using pips. There's not really much point to it. It's just an inferior product. And it makes otherwise good cars just not good. It takes competitively viable cars and then suddenly they're just not usable. Half the cars in the game are bar boost and are just unplayable. Look at the monster trucks. Why are they all bar boost? Give us one pip boost monster truck, please. Before the game released, Milestone opened a channel on their official Discord for players to request cars that they would like to see added into the game in the future. This was a great idea. Everyone was really supportive of it. We could request cars like the 1970 Chevelle SS, or the Accelerators fans were able to say, Reverb, Riveted, add these cars. And if enough people requested the same car, there was a good chance that it was good. This was great. The game eventually did release, and modders were quick to access the game files and see that every car, including all planned DLC, was already in the game files. So everything from the first 3 Hot Wheels passes was already planned out. This made sense. When you're planning DLC, sometimes you will do a little bit beforehand, especially nowadays. We do a lot of on-disc content as DLCs. It's not good, it's quite dirty practice, but everyone does it. It's kind of just an accepted state at this point. And then as the 3rd pass was releasing, they closed the channel for requesting cars. So this made it sound like they were going to start adding those cars. Now, that seems all good, but they've then since announced they're not adding any further cars. All DLC is finished. So what was the point of the car request channel? Well, the simple point was a lot of people were in the car request channel were going to say, hey, we would like to see Riveted in the game. And then Riveted gets added to the game and it looks like they've done what people's requested. It looks like they've done a good thing for the community. Not that they were always planning to do this. This was a car they always planned to add. So just because it was popular in the car request channel, it actually had nothing to do with whether or not it was being added. They never planned to add any cars in the car request channel. They did this just to keep people happy. Just to make us content and think that they were doing something for the community. But nothing was added to the game because of that channel. It was probably just muted immediately, and they never once looked at it again. They never took any of that information into account and completely lied about the fact that they were going to add those cars or look at adding those cars, because they had no intention of ever doing so. Everything that has been added to the game was planned before the game released. So they've done nothing additional except for crossplay, which, as we know, isn't perfect. That's the only thing that wasn't initially part of the plan that has been added, and it may have initially been part of the plan. We can't confirm whether it was or was not. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they didn't plan to add crossplay. But these cars and all that, there was never any intention to add anything more than the original lineup they'd released. All the passes we got were in the game. And there's some stuff in the game files about a pass 4, but there's no pass 4 coming. So I guess that was something they planned at one point and axed. Just a quick one here. Did you know the menu music in this game is actually copyrighted? So if you put a video on YouTube and it plays the menu music, you'll get a copyright infringement. And, demonetized and all that sort of stuff. What a silly system. They've just kind of... So I did actually look up the company that does these copyright strikes. It is just a company or just a group online that you pay to access some of their music. And then you can put it in your game or whatever, but then no one else has the rights to it or anything like that. It's not something that they paid a lot of money for. They just basically threw these guys a tenner for some of their music. Do you remember in like Turbo Racing where you could do a backflip and it gave you boost? Or the Highway 35 game, or pretty much any Hot Wheels game ever where doing a stunt gives you boost? Yeah, so we don't get that. we have a stunting system, so we are allowed to do stunts, but there's no reason for it. You're just risking a crash for no reason. You're just doing a flip in the air to show off. And it's like, what's the point other than to show off? Yeah, there's nothing to motivate you to do stunts, despite the fact that stunts are available. No stunt reward system really sucks, and it could improve the game if we were able to get boost for stunts, like every Hot Wheels game ever. Back onto the community Discord. So the Milestone community interaction has just been abysmal. It's left so much to be desired. They talk to the community for like 5 minutes once a week or two, and then they vanish again. They don't respond when a game-breaking bug is found. So at one point, PC players just couldn't actually access multiplayer at all, and Milestone just wouldn't even reply to be like, "Yeah, we're fixing this." They gave us like, I think it was almost a week where we just could not play the game. The community member they selected at random basically to moderate their server has what many people have described as a god complex. He has been known to threaten timeout and ban people for the most insignificant things, such as replying to car requests, tagging Milestone once to ask why they didn't receive their content they paid for, or pointing out issues with the game, or telling people when Milestone lies about an issue. I personally got banned from the server for pointing out that Milestone was just banning players without reason on console. So not even like me personally getting banned, it was other people that I was speaking out for, saying, hey, watch out, people are just getting banned without reason. And I was banned from the server for that, not allowed to see their very, very stagnated updates. So the person they've got in charge of doing all these bans and whatnot is quite commonly referred to as a bit of a joke. You'll see a lot of people complain about him in other servers, and just he does ban with almost no reason. He'll ban for people, posting a GIF one time, or in the car request channel, if someone's like, hey, that's a really good car, I like that idea, he would threaten bans and time people out for that. And it's just such insignificant things that he would get really upset for. How dare you criticize Milestone? Banned. It makes no sense. And he alone has made that community unbearable for a lot of people and has become a laughingstock of the community. And then that is our first point of contact for Milestone. Whenever there's an issue, that guy is the first point of contact. The second point of contact is the community member or the community rep that doesn't do anything. They barely talk to people. They put in an announcement. They'll sometimes reply with like an emoji, and then they're gone again for another 2 weeks. It's been impossible to contact them for any issues, and that's why we can see that the game state is pretty bad. A lot of these issues are just not getting fixed because Milestone doesn't care. This community rep has so little to do with the company. Not just the one that they selected out of the community at random, but like the one that they have representing them as the name Milestone team has so little to do with the game that they have no pull to get anything fixed when something breaks. There's kind of no point to it. Have you ever seen like Overwatch patch notes? Even like 4 years later, they give the most detailed and just brilliant patch notes, and then also often reasons for those patch notes, like reasons for the patches themselves. However, there's just barely any patch notes in this game. They're a mess. Cars get changed in an update, and there'll be no information to say, hey, we've adjusted some cars. Like that's the minimum, is to say some car stats have been adjusted, let alone telling us what car is adjusted, in what way it's been adjusted. They just the patch notes have been shown to lie, as we saw with the PC crossplay update. And they completely lack any information worth reading. They'll just say added support for future DLCs. So if we were to look at the patch notes, they're not dated. So you don't know how many weeks it's been since this patch note was put here. And I promise that the latest patch note on their website was not for the last patch or even the one before that. It makes no sense that they have just such bland patch notes. The players in the community could do better patch notes than this, and they don't even get to see what's being changed. The DLC cost in this game was kind of ridiculous too. The whole DLC combined was almost double the original game. Possibly even was, depending on how you bought it. So 43 cars, 30 of those are character cars, 12 modules, 2 of which just don't work, and 3 new environments was all the stuff we got from DLCs that cost twice as much as the game, that had more than 40 cars and barely any modules, I guess, and plenty of environments though. The DLC cars cannot be obtained more than once, and there's no way to remove upgrades. This probably wouldn't normally be an issue. Why would you want to remove upgrades from a car and make it slower? And then Milestone went ahead and hosted an official tournament, which was cool. One of the rules was that you must drive a common car. You're not allowed to use your upgraded cars, despite the fact that there's no reason not to upgrade them most of the time. We'll get into Invader later. But yeah, so they've hosted this tournament. We couldn't use our upgraded DLC cars because we'd upgraded them. But if someone hadn't upgraded them, they had access to those cars. So some people had extra cars that they could use for this tournament that may have even been better. And that was purely because they didn't upgrade. That's a bit unfair. Why am I not allowed to use the car I paid for? Oh, because I improved it in the game and there's no way to downgrade it? The Invader, if you haven't upgraded the Invader, do not. Okay, so the Invader is a free DLC car, so that's cool. But at Common, it is dramatically faster than its Legendary counterpart. So, like, for whatever reason, its upgrades are in reverse or something, I guess. But it is faster in Common than in Legendary. So most people upgraded the Invader before they found out this abysmal information, and now forever stuck with a slow version of a popular vehicle. If you want the Invader to do well, you need to be able to upgrade it somehow. And this just, despite many requests, there's no way to remove upgrades from a car. Something like Baseline, which is the pip boost, the boost charges, until it hits Legendary where it becomes bar boost. A lot of people are like, I'd rather have charges than that little extra speed. And that's fine. But once you do get that extra speed, you're stuck on bar boost forever for that car. It's not good enough. I wanted to, for RDO2, people had the same dilemma. Was, do I want 2 boosts or 1 boost and more speed? So they had 2 copies of RDO2, right? A lot of people have done that, where they have a rare version and a legendary version, so they can just choose between the 2 as they please. You can't do that with Invader or Baseline or any of these other cars, because you're not allowed to have more than 1 copy and there's no way to downgrade them. Why? Why host an event for unupgraded cars with no way to downgrade them? There's no option to choose lobbies. So if I'm in a lobby and a hacker or a dirty skipper joins, I'll just leave and try and join a new lobby. And half the time you end up back in the same lobby. It's a regular occurrence in private lobbies that the lobby will just crash. You just boop, boom, load, over, everyone get out, go create a new lobby, force everyone to recreate it. It's not a slow thing either. Sometimes it takes a minute trying to load a track and then boots everyone back to the main menu. I don't know. I just feel like these lobbies could be improved if we could A, choose public lobbies, see who's in them, and B, obviously, not have private lobbies crash all the time. Our collection is so limited. 100 saved libraries, 25 favorited libraries, and 100 saved tracks. 0 favorited tracks. It's never been expanded. Like, why? There is over 100 cars in the game. So with the mod that allows us to edit the library of every car in the game, I cannot save a library for every car. And sometimes you want multiple, right? Sometimes I want 2 or 3 of the same car in different colors and different paint jobs because there's just so many cool designs. You're telling me I can't do that for more than, like, I don't know, 30 cars? What? I can't have 3 lobbies for more than 30 of the 100 plus cars in the game. Makes no sense. They really need to expand this. I think there's a mod that allows you to expand it and it doesn't cause issues. So, I don't know, man. If we can have over 100 cars, why can't we have over 100 liveries or tracks that we've created? Okay, if you've got people like that random dude who has at least 3 accounts because he's created over 200 tracks and has to keep making new accounts to make new tracks. He loves building tracks. Why limit this man? Fortunately, he's on Xbox, where getting a new account for this game is free, unlike us PC players, where we would have to pay another $60 to $100 to be able to do that again and lose all the DLC. $200 if you want all the DLC. It's not good. Definitely not ideal. We need a bigger collection. We need more libraries. We need more safe tracks. Coins and gears get pretty worthless when you've upgraded everything, because there's nothing else to spend them on. I mean, at first we were worried that there was never going to be enough to upgrade everything, right? Oh, we had to be really picky and choosy about what we upgraded. And then, thanks to the racing seasons, that was fixed. And now there's people with just like tens of thousands, possibly even hundreds of thousands of gears that if we can't upgrade it, what's the point? Why do we keep getting given these coins and gears that we can't even use? You can, however, spend coins in the basement. Did you know that? I didn't know that. They really tried to do something with the basement. We had 9 theme customization packs for the basement, as well as so many other customization options given as game rewards and part of the battle passes and all that sort of stuff that allows you to change almost everything in the basement itself. And when you create a track in that basement, it uploads your version of the basement with that track so people can see your basement when they're racing on your track. It's great. It sounds amazing, except for a number of issues. The first being that it loads so slowly. So getting into the basement to edit it is a pain in the ass. Clicking on it by accident, as we've seen in previous videos of mine, is also a pain in the ass. Why would I want to access something that annoys me to accidentally click on it? It just takes so long to load. The environment itself is so small and limiting. People would rather build in the track room or the skate park or the monster truck studio. Why couldn't the basement, like all the editing for the basement, have been the track room? It is such a bland design. Why can't I snazzy it up a little? That would have made so much more sense. Like all these customization options would have been way better suited to track room. I'm sorry. It's just fact. The customization options themselves have so little to do with Hot Wheels. Why would I want my basement to be skateboard themed when we have a skate park? They gave us a generic surf theme to sort of resemble Wave Rippers and a generic pink theme that sort of resembles Barbie, but like they own Barbie, they own Acceleracers and Highway 35. Why couldn't Mattel just allow these themes? Milestone not ask, or did Mattel really just say no to that? I don't think that makes any sense to not include anything Acceleracers themed because they allowed us to use the cars. Did Mattel really limit them this much? I don't know. I don't think that Mattel would be like, no, you cannot use Hot Wheels decorations in a Hot Wheels video game. The time and effort it takes to edit anything in this track builder isn't worth it. So track editors will end up just like making one basement that they like and then never touching it. Imagine if when you're designing your track, you could also edit the basement around the track at the same time without having to leave, go into the slow loading basement and change all these little things here and there. If it was just as part of the track design, it'd be a much simpler process. The whole thing could have just been done better. Or Milestone could have taken the resources they wasted on this unused, unloved part of the game and spent it on other issues like bug fixes. I don't know. The basement, look, they really tried something, and they probably shouldn't have because no one really cares for it, and it wasn't well done anyway. And, well, that's everything. That's not even everything. That's just a lot of significant things that are wrong with the game that probably should have been fixed at some point in the last 12 months. Look, I really do enjoy this game. I've had a great time playing it. I just wish it was better. I still stand by what I said, that this is the best Hot Wheels game I've played. But there's no reason that it can't be better than it is. So many of these issues are just so minor or so ignored, and Milestone could just do better. Please fix. They've said that they're bringing out another patch. Maybe it's come out before this video, but I really hope that it can truly fix all of these issues, especially the crossplay issues. Just give us back crossplay. Thank you for joining me. This is Cobalt. I will be continuing playing this game, even though Milestone has abandoned it. And I'll be continuing to host events. So please head over to my Discord, linked below, and get in on these events. They're fun. A lot of people are having a great time, and the more, the merrier. This game may have a limited 12-card grid, but there's always ways around that.